Exploring the unknown, from conspiracies to mysteries, you are entering the conspiracy sector.
Well, welcome everyone to this very special program. I am your host, Aubrey Batchelor, and sailing this amazing divine ship of knowledge with me is Chris Jacobs, and you are entering the conspiracy sector. We hope you've been good since the last Halloween shebanger episode that we did, and now we're already into the festive season, obviously. The day after Halloween, Christmas music has to start blaring into everybody's ears. Simply having a horrible Christmas time.
If I had my little screaming goat thing in here, I'd be using that right now.
Everybody buy gifts for all your family, or you feel guilty for yourself. You feel guilty for yourself. Kind of these targeted ads during the program or during the holiday seasons. You have to have this. You have to buy this for this one and this person, this person. This product's so good, you got to buy one for every single person in the family. While I don't mean to rant and rave, but since we're kind of getting into the festive season, we might as well try to get into that little topic. Buy what you need, buy gifts for your family, but don't fall for all the targeted ads and just the programming of the bombing and programming of the fact that these corporations try to subliminally, program you to want more of their products or to crave more of their products, either through the ingredients or through what they look like. Hey, Chris, I know that you've done a lot of research into that sort of a topic, when it comes to subliminal programming and things.
Yeah, it comes through the computer screens, through the TV screens, phones, everything, and in a certain frequency, you can see all these little symbols that pop up. This makes it fall into the magical category because of all the spells, symbols that are put into the little pixels in the screen. The movie theaters do this too. I've noticed. And you can target towards certain ads. This is why in movie theaters, when they show images of popcorn, pop, candy, all of this, you start to get hungry because they put that subliminal message in there. So all these targeted ads have all of this. This is AI related, and this is also why you if you're thinking of something and all of a sudden Facebook has it all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
The ads right into the head, and they can project outward what they're trying to do.
That happens all the time. You don't even have to be talking about it. You can just be thinking about it, and you'll start. What the, welcome to the metaverse, everybody.
That's the metaverse for you right there. That's artificial intelligence right there at its finest. So.
Oh yeah. Look at where we're going. And that's going to be a topic here soon too. Is AI? We're going to do a special episode, about maybe the future of AI. So have something to look forward to when it comes to that, because we can't just talk a little bit about that because.
That could very well be a Christmas thing too. Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Would everybody like an AI robotic Christmas?
Like the robotic Santa.
Santa died, so the elves had to build a new Santa, and he's AI generated and more productive and fit, and doesn't eat the milk and cookies at every stop.
And I just heard Isaac say he's smaller and more efficient.
Oh man. Then they killed all the reindeer for hamburger and built robotic reindeer.
He's now a transformer. Yes.
Yeah. They made these elves are trying to create a corporation. That would be something good, like a real shitty B movie. The elves kill Santa, and they create like this little, group or faction takeover of Santa Claus's operation because Santa's getting all this money on the side. So Santa's getting all this illicit money from different forms and factions.
And then he's screwing them over by
he's screwing them over. So they kill him and the reindeer and cook the reindeer for supper. Then they build AI generated Santa and reindeer to deliver gifts around the world and start.
That would be a real shitty B movie, but yeah.
AI takeover.
That is
Skynet.
Skynet. It could be a Terminator ripoff.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say it can be one of these real shitty like continuation movie plots. Well, what can we come up with to, how about holiday themed
like Black Christmases and also
Santa's in control of Skynet.
And like the AI Santa or the robotic Santa on Futurama.
Oh God. That's funny.
funny.
No, but that'll be a topic. That would be fun. How about an AI Christmas? That'll work well.
Yeah. Merry AI Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, that works well. Yeah. I am a robot. What do you want me to do? I am programmed. What do you want me to do? Make a real shitty rap song after that, too. Pop song. Something real good.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a song, too. I heard there's this Russian guy, Vitas. He goes, we gotta play.
Oh, I've heard that. That's annoying. Yeah.
We gotta play this for everybody right now to get everybody in the mood. We don't mean to digress here, but we're gonna digress for a bit. This is about as comical as can be. If you've never seen this, you're gonna.
And we need that now more than ever. So yeah.
I think of a human robot. I think of Vitas. And he's talented, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's actually rather annoying. Yeah.
Want some entertainment today?
Oh, you're gonna bring that up? Okay.
Might as well. Oh, not for a commercial though. See, there's the targeted ads. Chris, what were you thinking about?
Actually, I was just thinking about what we were talking about. So yeah.
The targeted ad was YouTube TV, so I wasn't thinking about YouTube TV there.
Yeah, sometimes they're random, sometimes they're targeted. It just depends. Yeah.
Oh well, we won't play the song, but go look at Vitas, the Seventh Element. You guys will laugh and giggle. But when it comes to the AI, I think that that'd be a good topic for Christmas and everything. But when it comes to Thanksgiving and everything and the festive types, I guess when it comes to both holidays, like I said, Black Friday's during and around Thanksgiving time. So that's when the Christmas shopping really starts. It really starts, about the first day of October anymore. You start seeing Christmas stuff on the shelves already. But don't become a robot and just buy all the products that you think that you need. Buy the products that you know that you need for your family, and that's it. Don't get into this buying spree, and buy into this targeted programming.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't follow this because it does have that element of control. We can go more in depth on that show, but yeah, it actually controls people to be more commercial and waste all their money on huge things and things of that nature. So,
and as well as I do, there's tough times talking about this because it's not just corporations. I'm a firm believer that, like there could be alien implantations going on, things of that nature. There could be there's so much. I don't even know where to begin. That's
it's a huge topic, a huge topic, and we've done shows on it before too. But it's worth rehashing. Yeah.
No, I know. And where do you want to rehash? That's
it's like even a little small section of it could take an hour. Yeah. So.
But do you have a story that you want to get into first?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do on some different creepy cryptids and stuff like that, and stories of that nature. Now, I'll tell my story before I show the thing that I found on Wikipedia, which they ended up matching. So. From what happened to ourselves yesterday, I might add. So synchronistically, I'll say this: I have been seeing images of house brownies pop up, for like a week, and I was like, okay, what is this? Even in someone's session, there were these weird beings that were doing damage to this person's house. And you and I have talked about puck wedgies and stuff like that before. Well, what this was, I assumed this was like puck wedgie type of activity. Apparently, there's like 3 different beings that fall under this type of category that I have seen personally. The one that we encountered here at the house was a house brownie. And the reason I am bringing this up is before I show the Wikipedia thing is this proves this was a synchronicity. Not only was I seeing images pop up, but I was seeing these weird patterns in the house. It was like I would constantly get attachments thrown on me every time I walk. We have our Christmas tree up. We had to do it ahead of time to go through stuff because we're moving. So we figured we'd get that up ahead of time. Anytime I would pass the tree, there all of a sudden there was this I would get an attachment thrown at me. And I can see them when they're flung at me. Like if I'm in public, I see them all over the place with my eyes. So I knew somebody was throwing around. And noises in the middle of the night. I figured it was a ghost, or something like that. But every time I passed this particular box that was under the tree, and we had gotten my mother this stone, this big chunk of calcite. And I'm thinking, oh God, did something corrupt this? I'm going to have to take it outside and clear it, all this other stuff. Well, what happened was I pull it out and I take it outside. Well, and start to clear it. Well, I start feeling this weird presence, like something's trying to throw something on me again. And I was thinking, okay, something crammed its way into the crystal. I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. And this was when I found, I saw in a particular spectrum, I saw this face sticking out of the crystal. And the crystal's probably about this high. It's probably about maybe 1.5 feet high. It's fairly big. And it's fairly wide too. And I was like, okay, who's the fucker that's in our crystal, And all of a sudden I start seeing these weird little like elf looking things, And I came to find out that these were called house brownies. And the reason, like kind of like Dobby in Harry Potter, he's like a house elf type of figure.
Yeah.
And he
I might have
like
some of them running around here, probably.
Oh yeah, and what happened was, see, up until this point, our viewers have known that I have been going through a lot of stuff in the house, doing both personal energy clearing and outer energy clearing as well, finding haunted photographs, finding like my old notebooks I used to write in, because I found out certain beings that I was channeling back in the day when I wrote some of them weren't good. And this was a learning curve for myself, but the notebooks still were in existence, and the written word in those were causing a bit of a conduit and kind of like this depressive, this heavy energy. And I've been burning those one by one, taking photographs and then throwing them into this can outside here, this metal can. Well, the metal can has gotten fairly dense with energy because metal absorbs a lot of the crap energies. And so does stone. Well, what happened was this activity really started kicking up around the time I began some of this months ago. But I stopped for a little period. My brain wasn't registering doing it anymore. I just stopped. And so I found out that when these beings think you're being lazy and cleaning up around the house, they play pranks and they throw things at you. They'll break stuff like that. Well, what happened was when I found these beings, I got super pissed at them. I'm thinking, you're adding to our stress. You're adding to this. What the? I was mad as hell when I found this. I was like, don't corrupt this, don't do that. And I came to find out from them, they were mad because I was burning the notebooks and it was causing this energy stink. And
interesting.
Yeah. And well, what had happened was the fire was cleansing, but at the same time, it was setting off the energy like an atomic bomb each time I was doing it. And these little beings were mad. Like it's basically like if you had a housekeeper and you got drunk and took a shit in your living room and they got really mad at you. That's kind of how they viewed it. And it was like, and I got mad back. It's like, no, I have a procedure for this. I have to keep going till it's done. And then I will assist with this cleanup, and I was like, you just added to the stress and everything. This was horrible. Well, you did this to me for months, obviously, and also on top of that, they were amplifying different objects in the house they thought that had some kind of entanglement. Like I said in a previous episode with the cursed objects and stuff like that, what they were doing was amplifying it so that I would rush and hurry up. And as I was photographing the notebooks, I could always feel like this overwhelming sense of rushness, like you were being hurried, like pushed, and like panic, anxiety. And it was, and I found out as a group, several of them were doing that to me. And It was pretty bad for a
So
little
it
bit. And they were
causes
also
does it cause anxiety then?
oh, yeah, it caused heavy amounts of anxiety. And normally, sometimes ghosts and demonic entities will do this, but I wasn't sensing
Mm-hmm.
anything extremely low vibrational or evil. I wasn't sensing evil, but it
Mm-hmm.
was they were basically, it's like, say an object already had an entanglement on it, like the notebooks or
Mm-hmm.
like other things around the house. They were amplifying to the signal so much, figuring, oh, he's being lazy because he's not noticing this. And per the lore, and I'll bring this up now, per the lore here, this was actually quite fascinating when I looked at the lore. I know on desktop is a mess. Oh, this is not what I want. Okay, here we go. This is what I found when I looked this up last night. And it says Brownie folklore. A brownie or bruni Scots. This is Scottish in Gaelic mythology, also known as Brunide or Gragat. I don't know how to pronounce that. Scottish Gaelic is a household spirit or hobgoblin from Scottish folklore, and that is said to come out at night while the owners of the house are asleep and perform various chores and farming tasks. The human owners of the house must leave a bowl of milk or cream or some other offering for the brownie. This also is true of like gnomes and fairies, and they still do this in Ireland,
Hmm.
usually by the hearth or fire. Guess what I've been doing outside? Burning. And they were seeing
Mm-hmm.
that as an affront because I wasn't, honoring, they thought honoring their space. See, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so brownies are described as easily offended and will leave their homes forever if they feel they have been insulted or in any way taken advantage of. There's another type of being called a grimpa. I've noticed that is a gnome type that becomes extremely insulted very quickly.
Hmm.
Leprechauns, they're sometimes they're known for being mischievous, but they can go either way. And then you have other types of beings such as
What
boggarts.
about jinn creatures?
Jinn are a different variety altogether. They kind of look like fish in some instances, or like people from the Middle East, where they kind of like the classic genie, and they can be evil as well. What those guys will do is basically they will play with what I call luck threads or entanglement threads, kind of like the threads
Hmm.
of fate sort of thing, where they can take abundance away, they can give abundance, but at the same time they're not to be messed with at all.
Hmm.
But with they're usually servants to something darker. Unfortunately, it's not like the movies. Everybody, they can be served. They're usually servants to darkness. But
Well,
brownies are character.
I know that Rosemary Ellen Guiley chick, she was saying that they're like one of the oldest paranormal creatures around. Do you know anything about
They're
that?
incredibly ancient, and it was the Orions back in the day that actually took them from a different dimension and cultivated them, used some of their DNA. This is why in mythology, angels and demons can be jinn, but not all jinn are angels and demons. So
Hmm.
it's you had the Orions create the whole system we know of as what we know of as dualism. They created the for and against with angelic and demonic, as well as created the jinn. Now, some people see the jinn as victims, but the ones I've encountered in this day and age have been very feral types, and they've caused a lot of horror for a lot of people. So
Hmm.
some were good, I don't deny that, but most of them I've run across in this day and age have been pretty ugly. But with this though, this was equally as ugly in some areas. Not necessarily evil, but in a mischievous way. Brownies are characteristically mischievous and are often said to punish and pull pranks on lazy servants. If angered, they are sometimes said to turn malicious, like boggarts. Boggarts are the other type I found on someone else's property up north in Canada. And those guys were damaging property just like a puckwudgie would. Puckwudgies are the worst of those three, but
Hmm.
but this what I found very, very interesting, and people can go to Wikipedia and look up brownie folklore. I found this very interesting. It's just like with Dobby here from Harry Potter. This is what they look like right here. Is this
Hmm.
form? And they're also said to wear a sack like this. They either run around naked and wear a sack, or wear a sack. But also, if you offer them clothing, like how Dobby is offered a sock in Harry
Hmm.
Potter, they basically leave your house forever. And
Hmm.
I find that interesting. And one of the pictures that kept coming up was, let's see, where is it? Okay, it's right here. Oh, I got it up already. It's this one right here that kept popping up in our search constantly. And this is what they looked like, but naked. And or like Dobie, you know, it was like this. They called Dobie a house elf, but it's the same difference, you know. And I find it fascinating, even though I was fairly pissed off last night. I find the whole thing fascinating because I was introduced, you know, I always say, well, I want to know certain things about certain subjects. With words like that, it's kind of like a loaded comment or a loaded, you know, request, because then you start learning about some of these different creatures like puckwudgies. We had one on the property that left a squirrel in our wall of the house, and it died in there. And no way I could get to it to let it out because it was in the wall space. And it died and left this death stink all through the house. I had to use amber, frankincense, and myrrh to clean up the death stink, you know, and a few times actually. And so if you anger a puckwudgie, that's usually what's going to happen. They're malicious to begin with. Boggarts are similar. They look like Dobie, but they're grayish in color, and they tend to break things on the property, cause floods, cause pipes to break, stuff like that. You know, things disappear. Brownies will just take stuff.
That sounds like what's going on around here.
You probably have either puckwudgie or boggarts or some crap, some such thing. Or brownies will think you're lazy, so they'll push you to actually do a cleanup. Like they'll push. And I didn't realize what that force was that was doing that to me. Like when I was working with the notebooks, I was having a conversation with somebody, but I didn't know, consciously I didn't know what. But Joanna said I kept talking to something on like a subconscious level. Like I was yelling at something, or I was going to, you know, talking to something, you know, moving my lips and everything. And I knew subconsciously I was conversing with something, and it was basically these guys. And it was really, it was tiring when I found this out. But when I found out what it was, the activity stopped. So I took the crystal outside. Crystal's fine this morning, so it's perfectly okay. You know, even though these subjects are fascinating, when you get something like that around your house, they're obnoxious sometimes. And if they think that you're not cleaning up something fast enough, they're, like I said, they're going to push you, or they'll use something that has an entanglement and kind of overly highlight it, like here. And it's like taking a highlighter to something, or like basically just circling something is what they're doing. Like, these are the problem areas. This is what they'll do, and they're annoying as hell. And they will, if you could talk to them, they'd mouth off to you going, oh, we're offended that you're offended, and we're offended, and we're going to leave now. You know, that's kind of how they would talk. It's like, fine, I didn't want you here to begin with. You know, it's like,
yeah, piss off, mate, piss off.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's how they are. You know, and also when you want to learn about these subjects, you got to choose your words carefully, evidently, because or you encounter these things extremely amplified. And me, that I can actually see them and feel them when I know something's wrong. And sometimes I don't actually take care of something right away. I'll sense something, and then the lazy side of me, I guess, does kick in, and I'll go, meh, you know, like that. I'm busy doing something, you know. And I don't always catch it right away, and then something lets me know it's there. But yet their energy wasn't evil. It wasn't like they were like out to like kill you like a demon, or out to drive you insane or anything. It's just that they were extreme practical jokesters, and they were just getting angry that I was continuing my massive cleanup with the notebooks, but wasn't doing it fast enough for their liking. They were trying to get me to burn all of them instead of cataloging like I've been doing. And they want. I would love to take all of them and do it, but I want to catalog them first in my database, my computer database. So I photograph the pages, and then I throw the one I do in the burn bin. And they would much rather see me take the whole lot, throw it in the can, and be done with it. And it's like, I was like, no, I can't do that right now. You're just gonna have to be patient. And I told them that last night. I wasn't as kind as I am now, because I noticed what they'd been doing for quite some time. So yeah, are there protections against things like this? Yes, there are some beings from the ancient world that they always expected some kind of offering back in the day, like fairies were like that. Some gnomes were like that. The Irish still do it. They still leave jewelry. They leave shiny things. If you have shiny things disappear from your house, sometimes gnomes and brownies and boggarts and things like that. Even sometimes leprechauns will do it, even though I've known them to be mostly fine. That's why people in Ireland are always leaving them stuff. Because that, not that I'm saying people have to do this to appease anybody. I'm not saying, be a yes man to any being or anything like that. I'm just saying this was a pattern they got used to, and that when people started to forget about them, they got kind of cranky. So from the ancient world going into the modern era, people started forgetting about some of this stuff, and they got kind of crotchety. So some of them did. And then this ended up being this type of situation. I got a validation to that when I said they got crotchety after a while. I just felt the energy push, but yeah, it's just like Harry Potter with Dobby. It's the same difference right there. And yeah, they were walking around naked, and I found out, the myth said leave clothes for them. So I figured I'll leave them something, and see if they either go away or they just get appeased enough to not play practical jokes and stuff like that. I'm not saying always consent to constantly have to give something to a being to appease it. That's not what I'm saying. It's just more of an honoring of the whole situation. But the other story I find fascinating. This one falls under the demonic category. This one's strictly East Coast related. And this is, everybody's heard of the whole Blair Witch Project story out there. And people always thought some of this was a farce, which of course some of it was. But the original myth surrounding this was, I believe it was Blair, Connecticut, I want to say. And this was back just prior to the witch burnings. And where this town was, children were dying and disappeared in the town. And people thought it was, Satan, the devil, all that. And there was a girl that was selected they thought was a little different. I'm thinking this woman was psychic in some fashion, and or had some awakening in some fashion. And they were people, when you have a higher frequency or faster moving frequency, those that are still in like an unawakened state are afraid of that because they see it as dark or evil. And that's essentially what precluded to the witch burnings. That and darker influence was trying to get rid of anybody that was probably awake or innocent in some fashion. But what happened here was they took this girl and basically crucified this person. And what happened was they took her, put her out for the winter, and crucified her. And what they came out after the fall, and she was still alive. And what happened was she basically, the myth says she cursed them and their all their future generations after that. That's where the whole Blair Witch thing came in. What was actually doing it, what was actually hurting the children, was a cryptid that the natives called the Hippomilchus. And this was a big spider crustacean looking thing. It had a big glowing butt on the end of it, like bioluminescent type of thing. And it's in that area of Connecticut. From even though it goes up and down the eastern seaboard, there's cryptids like this all over. The Witcher series saw it as more of a insectoid type, and it is. I had dreams and stuff about it where there were these crustacean mantis looking things that lived in the ocean, and their larvae were in the bioluminescent plankton that was out there. That blue bioluminescent plankton that's out on the ocean
that glows.
Yeah, and I had a dream where my mother and this Native American and I were sitting on a beach in front of a fire, and I saw this plankton come in, and there was this horseshoe crab where this being, I thought it was dead and picked it up, and there was this mantis crab looking thing that glowed blue, and looked at it. I found out this was a larvae of one of these beings, or a baby of one of these beings that was feeding off of the bioluminescent plankton because their eggs were amongst it. And so therefore they started to glow blue if they were agitated like the plankton does. Hence you have also the bioluminescent qualities of the adults like jellyfish. And what happened was these beings required energy. They required sustenance or a certain type of hemoglobin like vampires, like a vampire. What happened with these kids was these kids were basically psychically coerced by this being telepathically coerced to go out to where it was. They either disappeared or they found them dead, and they were blue in a circle. these kids were blue and they were put in a circle. That's why they thought it was witches at the time. And they thought it was that young girl, because that young girl was also going out there to see what this was. She was probably picking up on something. And the villagers thought they were putting two and two together and thought that the girl was the witch that was killing the children. That was their religious indoctrinated fear that was kicking in at the time. But this being was basically grabbing these kids and taking their soul essence, like energy, or their cellular, essence, and also some of their blood. It's just like in Star Trek, where there was this episode called Obsession, where there was this vampiric cloud that would kill people in the same way, and it would take all their hemoglobin, and they'd be blue when they found them. This is the same identical type of thing, and this cryptid type is all up the eastern coast. It's not just one. The natives saw it as one thing, but it's like the crabs that they show, like on some of those nature shows, where you have like a crab that can come on land for a little bit and hold its breath or breathe air for a limited time, and it's like on a tree or something. David Attenborough did a special one time on a large crab that clung to a tree, and he basically said these guys come out of water once every like 8 years, or 6 to 8 years or something like that.
That's it.
And this is the kind of thing what the Hippomilchus is. It comes out within certain cycles and comes out on land and needs food, kind of like a hibernating bear. And it's a cryptid that it goes after certain energy, hemoglobin, and psionic type. Most likely those kids had a certain psionic capability as well, like the Blair Witch little girl more than likely did. And she just stayed out of the danger zone, but the villagers ended up killing her. She probably resisted in some way, and this creature probably influenced the villagers to do her harm. So, because it essentially falls under the vampire category. So this, it has a strong telepathic strength to it. I had a dream about this years ago where I think this was a ghost occurrence, where I had a dream where I was walking into a forest where all the trees were dead. And I saw like a bed of skull, kind of like in Terminator, where you see all the bones and everything. And then I just felt like I passed through an energy field, and all of a sudden I just felt like I was burning and then dead. What happened was whoever this was, whoever this ghost was showing me how he died, and where this creature reached in through the top of his head, and that's where he was. That's how he was killed. And where he felt burning, I thought he burned from a fire or something, but it was this creature putting like some kind of venom down into the top of his head, and it came down from like a tree, like a spider would, and grab. And some think it's an arachnid, which it does. Of course, scorpions and spiders are arachnids, but some crustaceans essentially are cousins to arachnids too. So I thought it was just a spider, but it's actually more of a crustacean, and it's like a big crab essentially. So yeah, that's a major cryptid that's on the East Coast. I'm not telling people to freak out or anything, but this was incorporated into the period just before the witch burnings started. So I'm thinking these creatures had a hand in that, because Draco reptilians and demonic forces more than likely did too. But these creatures were an integral part in some of the crap that was going on there. And I discovered them a while back when we were on the East Coast 5-6 years ago, and that's apparently when their cycle was up to be out. And they can heavily mentally influence people to go into a wooded area, go into a place where these predators are, and will grab you. That's where some.
You think that's some of the missing 411 phenomenon?
Yeah, that adds to it. Draco reptilians do it. Government agencies do it. And if you look at a map of the United States, there's where all the missing people are. There's caves and there's military bases nearby as well. And aliens do it. Greys do it. Any of them. And these creatures also add to the missing people.
There's something about staring at the entrance of a dark cave, especially if you come across it in the middle of nowhere. You're like, oh. Whoa.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Caves can be a good thing, but also some people also get taken by creatures from the inner earth, like Draco reptilians and demonic type stuff too. So yeah, it's military oriented, it's corporation oriented, but also cryptid oriented as well. People like to blame Sasquatch a lot, but I don't subscribe to that. I believe it's some of these other darker forces that are.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of Sasquatch. You remember that one story I told you that we had in Colorado?
Oh
And
yeah.
that basically, long story short, I've said it for the viewers before too, I think before, but was being stalked by something. Yeah, I was digging for water on an unnaturally hot day at a dry creek dam. And no more after 5 minutes of digging for water, I kneel back down and something running and charging and grunting. Sounds just like that, only a lot louder, is coming straight at us. And carry a belt knife with me, and I just so happened to find a hard thorn brush that I was using as a walking stick, just for some sort of self defense in case anything happened. And I had a wife, and then two little dogs, that are pieces of bait basically for anything, it's there. And this thing came sprinting at us. I turned around, ready to go to war. Her and the dogs take off running. I say, stop running. And, no more than when I'm getting ready to go to war. Got that belt knife out. I know it was back and to my left that it was coming from. Nothing. And the creepiest thing is I walk back to back, and we're in somewhat thick brush. We walked back to back about a mile back to the vehicle, and I didn't see a damn thing. Nothing at
Mhm.
all. That's the
Oh yeah,
creepiest.
that would be Sasquatch, because they sometimes, the sentinels for different colonies will scare people out of an area like that. They'll go and
Yeah.
they want you away from
Territory.
colony. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were
Oh
maybe
yeah, that
we
I
were
run into
maybe at
that
like a
constantly.
colony, you think?
Yeah, it's a colony. What happens is they elect kind of like a guard, like you would in any facility, essentially. And you go off, say if you go really far into the woods, you'll encounter a one that will intercept you sometimes. And if you're
You
getting too
think
close to a colony, yeah.
you believe Sasquatch kill people?
There are bad ones out there. I have run into them, and the ones that we telepathically communicate with here they've said not all of us are good. There are some of us that are actually quite nasty. It's just like with humans. You have good ones and you have not so good ones, and it's like that's no different. People attribute this holy, like, kind of like aura or narrative to Sasquatch, and they said in some areas they appreciate that, but it's sometimes they want to warn people, say, no, we're no different than you. Just because we have a greater range of capabilities doesn't mean that we're any different than you are. That's what they basically want people to know as well. Just because they are in a faster moving frequency and can do some of this quantum shifting and everything,
Mm-hmm.
they said, we started out like you and we
Mm.
are like you. We're your cousins. So
Mm.
doesn't mean we're all good. And if they
Mm-hmm.
go bad, they go bad. I've noticed that it's like the game Fable, where you know how when you did a bad deed, the face changed
Yeah.
and it changed. They have a shape shifting like capability. So if they do an evil deed of some sort, their face will change and get kind of they turn into like a demonic looking satyrish type of form.
Hmm.
And not like a goat. That's a satyr's a different type of demonic entity. There's goat squatch and there's these goat satyrs, but you have good Sasquatch and you have ones that are can be mischievous, and if they turn evil, they change. And we encountered a Sasquatch a while back
Hmm.
that was an adolescent one that was actually telepathically harassing us as well. And the adult ones got a hold of him and said, okay, he's being mischievous. The Orions and reptilians and stuff were trying to get him to turn so he was more like them. And that's what that happened with that. I thought that was quite interesting. But I will cap off my conversation. I'll have then you can talk after this too with what you brought
Mm-hmm.
in. But to cap off the whole Blair Witch thing, years after, of course, they closed the town of Blair off after there was like this pestilence that occurred there after the witch cursed them. That's how the people interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else came in years later, like 30, 40 years later, and wanted to reopen it. He wanted to create another colony. So same thing happened. Some kids started disappearing, and this guy started investigating it a little bit, and then they shut the town down again. Well, more closer to the modern era, there was a homeless person that was actually abducting children and putting them out in this same area where this stuff was happening centuries ago. And
Mm-hmm.
he said the Blair Witch was telling him to leave the kids there. Would this telepathic creature, knowing the mythology, would have projected that image in someone's head to make them blame something else? Yeah. Doesn't mean that witch, when they of course found her still alive after the frost, and she cursed them. Granted, they could have made that part up to make it seem scarier, but at the same note, could someone's poltergeist apparition or like ghostly, demonic type presence still be around? Yes, but I firmly blame the creature itself for this because of the telepathic coercion factor there. And the homeless person was bringing these kids to this creature because it was coercing them. Some of these creatures need an agent in between sometimes to do stuff if they can't quite get there. Before kids were wandering out in the woods centuries ago, they weren't doing it this time because they were more in cities. So this homeless person, it basically enlisted an agent's help to try to get these kids out there. Beings have done this for centuries, different gods. Look at Hercules and the 12 labors. Zeus had him run into the 12 labors because Zeus was either too lazy to do it himself or he couldn't because of either a treaty restriction for galactics or a vibrational restriction of some sort. So Hercules took on the task. I call that the Hercules initiative because you have servants that are doing things in quests on behalf of gods and goddesses. And like Samson with God, he killed the Philistines on behalf of God. Well, that was some aliens saying they didn't want that particular genetic strain out there. So it was of those people. And I believe firmly the same thing happened with Hitler. So where he didn't want the Jews around, essentially. Because as it goes, he encountered Orion forces, Draco reptilian forces, and of course they would be evil enough to annihilate whole groups of people through genocide. So he was used as a dark agent too. So I believe Hitler falls under that category, but because the fact that he assembled Germany in such a small amount of time, he had help.
Oh God, that was crazy. Everything about
so that falls under the alien category, but people get what I'm done said. But
that's like a whole year's worth of discussion.
Oh yeah, that's a show on basically how the Third Reich was influenced and generated by aliens would be a show in and of itself. That of how they helped Hitler build the Nazi Empire, pretty much. But that would be something in and of itself. I know I veered, but that figured I wanted to compare.
It all interconnects.
Yeah, but yeah, what were your stories?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about, we're kind of picking up the same thing. I was going to talk a little bit about a mythical creature and just a little bit of a festive story, I suppose, here. But let's get right on into it. Slam it down. Sorry, I had to rearrange here. I twisted my knee last night.
Yeah, he hurt himself. He was chasing a dog last night, and he hurt himself. So.
Too lovely today. Kind of in a grumpy mood today, a little bit. But let me get into it here. My ankle and my knee at the same damn time.
Yeah, I told him before the recording I can't afford to do that with my bum knee. If I did that, I'd be in trouble.
Well, this is I've twisted my knee 3 times this year alone. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to have knee surgery here soon.
And that kind of stuff falls under these mischievous beings as well, where they'll cause accidents like that happen in injuries. So that actually fits synchronistically with it as much as it sucks. Yeah.
Oh, well, then give me some sort of a phantom arrow to shove straight through the little hearts.
Right.
I'm going to talk about Willow the Wisp. I know that you're aware of this one. It's one of my favorite ones. I like to come back to it every now and then. I don't believe I've shared it with this audience before. And but Willow the Wisp is a strange little lore story / mythical entity that has been around in many different countries throughout the ages. Willow the Wisp is a phantom light that hovers in the wilderness, luring travelers away from the beaten path. Most of these lights haunt the moors and bogs of England, but they have been reported all over the world under various names. And this article is from mythology.net by Professor Geller. And characteristics, physical description. Willow the Wisps are very simple apparitions. They appear as balls of light, sometimes so bright they hurt your eyes, and other times so dim that you have to squint to see them. They usually have a bluish gleam to them, although red has also been reported. Now, I know a lot of people have also reported these being related to UFOs as well, with the emitting light and their movements, and not just a spiritual apparition or some other strange, entity or natural phenomenon, whatever's going on. In some rare sightings, a dark figure has been seen carrying the light as if it was a torch or a lantern. Despite carrying a light, the figure is always too dark to be described in detail. Personality: a light floating in the darkness might seem innocent, even friendly, but don't be deceived. These attractive lights are almost always malevolent. They lead travelers onto dangerous land, perhaps a deep hole or a bog or a kingdom ruled by vicious fairies. The backstory: Will o' the Wisps can shed some light on their cruel nature. The lights are carried by spirits who are shut out of both heaven and hell. So that sounds like purgatory, or maybe life on earth.
Exactly.
The classic Will o' the Wisp is carried by a blacksmith named Will. Will was such a troublemaker that when he died and went to heaven, he was sent back by St. Peter, who told him to reform during his second life. Unfortunately, Will's second life was even more monstrous than his first, so St. Peter cursed him to roam the earth forever. The devil, impressed by Will's evil doing, gave him a coal to warm himself on the cold earth nights. Instead, Will decided to use the coal to make a torch and lure innocent travelers into danger. So that's kind of interesting. The
That's very
jackal,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, kind of all the stuff that may or may have not have happened throughout this world is absolutely amazing. The classic Will o' the Wisp is, or oops, sorry, the jack o' lantern is carried by a drunkard named Jack. Jack, and just right after Halloween, jack o' lantern carried by a drunkard named Jack. Jack sold his soul to the devil so that the devil would pay his pub tab. When the devil returned from the pub to collect Jack's soul, the man tricked him into climbing a tree, then drew a cross under the tree, trapping the furious devil in its branches. Later, when Jack died, he was rejected at heaven's gates. He had to beg the devil for a place in hell. The devil was delighted at his chance to get revenge. He cursed Jack to wander the earth with only a small frame for light. Jack put his flame in a carved turnip and used it as a lantern. In other places, goblins, pixies, witches, and unbaptized children, and even the devil are to blame for carrying these dangerous lights. So there's where it crosses into the realms, and it could be all related in different
No,
ways.
I feel it's all interlinked by what we were saying before. But the Will o' the Wisp, that's actually a couple of things. There is an actual entity type that is like this fog, like Will o' Wispy type. That's an actual
Mhm.
cryptid that I've run across, and they called themselves. To me, they called themselves the Duat, and they
Mm.
were a Will o' Wisp type that would hang around in swamps and around old castles and fortresses, very much like a fairy would. And
Mhm.
people associate with fairies. Also, the of course we went through the phantom lights in the previous episode, where the Halloween episode, where I was talking about different lights being like little spaceships or little fairy lights and stuff. Will o' the Wisp falls under this category too, but sometimes, of course, they can be a ghost that maybe mutated and fused with another entity. They even depicted them in the Elder Scrolls series as Will o' the Wisp, so
Mm.
where they were completely malevolent. The cryptid type I ran across said that they had a negative counterpart that was getting a lot of the press. They said they're like this, like wispy elemental type. I came across, and they're not seen very often. But the negative ones, these feral like ones that like they depict in Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim, Oblivion, and them, are actually real the way they are depicted. They are feral, they're vicious, and they will kill people. So
Mm.
they would literally, if you could see what they looked like through the mist, you'd see like this weird skeletal looking, like plasmoid like form underneath, and then you have like this wisp, but it's so thick that you just see the wisp and the little lights coming off of them that are really bright. But within there is a plasma like form that's in them.
Mm.
And people always wonder how I get all this information. It's just through experience, where I'm actually seeing what these things look like on the inside and everything.
Mhm.
It's not that I've cut one open or anything, but they are
Dissected
a
one.
physical being. Since plasma is the next stage of matter, they actually are a physical being that could be killed by like a sword or a gun or something like that, because it is a physical being. It just has this weird like plasma uh, like wisp on the outside, and it being still a stage of matter, it's still a physical body. People forget plasma is still a stage of matter, so that's essentially what they are. And people have been misled to think that these are swamp gas and stuff like that. No, these are actual. This is an actual set of cryptids.
Hmm. Interesting. To finish it out, some explanations of the myth here. Although they may not be trapped in lanterns or held by the devil or hover over sunken fairy gold, will-o'-the-wisps are a very real phenomenon. These mysterious lights do exist, and for a long time they could only be explained through superstition. Today, science has a few explanations which don't involve ghosts, devils, witches, or fairies for the lights. Which, there's also strange things at realm. So there's not strange, there's normal and unnormal that all parallel together. Some scientists believe that the light is produced by a type of bioluminescent fungus or algae that grows in marshy areas. Just like fireflies or anglerfish, these plants could undergo a unique chemical process to produce light. Still, more scientists claim that a mixture of gases is responsible for the lights. So these are all just guesses. It's no, yeah. And marshes, plant material often sinks underwater before it can decompose. In the water, the material undergoes an unusual type of decomposition, which releases methane, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and phosphenes into the air. Methane is a highly flammable gas, and phosphenes have been known to spontaneously combust. So when they come into contact with air, whoosh, that's going to be freaky to see. Combine these two chemicals and you could easily produce a burning ball of light hovering above the marsh. But yeah, so there could be natural phenomenon related to that, but it could also be
some of it, yeah,
something. That UFO event that I had could be considered a will-o'-wisp like event just by the way it was emitting a bluish red and green light, and it was no bigger than like 6 to 12 inches. I know that. But it went, hell, it was crazy. I just wish I had dash cam on my car more than ever that night.
I'm gonna have to buy one of those for when we travel because you never know.
It's never gonna happen again like that, like it did.
No,
so it doesn't.
It never does. Never does.
Yeah, but then there was this. Then I look over, in the middle of the sand hills. I look over, then there's just this bright white light, and I'm pretty sure it was not a planet because you're out in the middle of nowhere with no light pollution. You see every star in the sky. I didn't see any stars that night, oddly enough. I don't know if it was cloudy. All you see is this bright, big white orb that looks like it's like 10 miles away from us 2 seconds after that, after we seen that light go down in front of us. It was like a bright, translucent, luminescent, vibrant, different colored green, white, yellow, red all through those really quickly, just going through all those colors really quickly. And it just shot straight down and vanished in front of us like that quick. So then we look over, and so it was kind of a will-o'-the-wisp like UFO event, if that makes sense. So
I could see how earlier people would have interpreted glowing mushrooms, swamp gas, and
as magical properties.
Any sufficiently
which it is in a way. It's a magical trait.
Oh yeah, any sufficiently advanced technology is nearly indistinguishable from magic, like what Arthur C. Clarke said. So that's how you have to account for some of these things in the ancient past. It was just technology, and it was tapping into some of the same elemental magics as, say, the actual magic would. So magic is just an extremely advanced form of science and alchemy. So that's like with the Philosopher's Stone, with like changing gold, lead to gold, stuff like that. Technology of that level could do that because of these advanced technologies. You could literally take one metal and convert it atomically into another. It's just that people have been trying for centuries, but we haven't had the sufficiently advanced sciences and technology to pull it off. So I could see how will-o'-the-wisp would be seen in a broader category with all this other activity too.
Well, I got one more that we can talk about, and then if you want to do a little bit of questioning.
Okay.
Let me get everything organized here. About ready to unplug my cable here. I want to do that, trying to not elevate my knee so much a little bit, kind of losing some blood flow in there a little bit. So let me get into it here. Go back here. But yeah, bye will-o'-the-wisp. And hello to the 11 weirdest Thanksgiving traditions ever. So thought this might be a little fun, interesting tidbit. And this is from theculturetrip.com. And an article by India Irving. Thanksgiving is a day of family, food, and traditions, but people get up to stranger things on the holiday than you might imagine. Here are 11 of the craziest Thanksgiving traditions ever. National Thanksgiving Turkey Presentation. Yep, they'll be doing this. I need to watch President Biden do this. That might be comical.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember it was kind of comical seeing the other people. They don't know how to react to it. You know, I don't know what the looks on their faces. Since the 1940s and officially since 1989, U.S. presidents have been pardoning a turkey prior to Thanksgiving, so he escapes death from being baked. In a televised ceremony, the president is presented with a live domestic turkey, which he pardons. The turkey is then sent live out, or sent live, sent to live out its days at Mount Vernon. The former estate of President George Washington is opposed to ending up as someone's dinner. It's a pretty cool tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey bowling. I had to try this at your local supermarket. Get it going. Forget about bowling balls and bowl with a frozen turkey. This Thanksgiving using soda or water bottles as makeshift pins. This hilarious tradition started in 1988 at Lucky's grocery shop in Newport Beach, where the bowling took place in the alleys of the store. So that was kind of funny.
Oh, I've heard of that when we were in Nebraska. I was always hearing stories about the turkey bowling. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, turducken. When turkey
I've had
isn't enough.
turducken. You're not missing much. Yeah.
Yeah. Try a turducken. A deboned chicken is stuffed into a deboned duck, which is then stuffed into a deboned turkey.
Isaac just called that the animal equivalent to the human centipede.
Oh, the human centipede. How about the human centipede?
Oh, God.
Sub turkey for crab. Now that's a delicious way to do it. I'm actually making turkey pho this year instead of baking a turkey. I'm going to make a turkey pho.
Oh,
It'd
okay.
be delicious and grand. So sub turkey for crab, which I might have to do this the following year, or I think Christmas. You know, when we talk about AI robots, I'm going to get oysters for Christmas. I think maybe we might.
Oh, yeah. Be careful with those. You know, it's a crapshoot with.
We'll get it from a good company. You know, and make sure it's overnight shipping. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then don't eat.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with those. Yeah, you tend to get food poisoning if you get one piece of a bad one. So it's like,
yeah, I know. I had well, ironically, at Christmas time, I had food poisoning one time. That was from canned oysters, not fresh, but it wasn't fun. It caused like a paralysis. I was paralyzed like Christmas Day about 10 years ago, I guess.
it can knock you on your ass. Yeah.
12 years ago now. And I remember it was freaky. But sub turkey for crab, or go completely ham like they do in San Francisco and substitute your Thanksgiving bird with crab. Thanksgiving normally marks the beginning of the Dungeness crab seasons. There is no better way to celebrate than a seafood Thanksgiving feast. That sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I haven't had a crab in a while, but that would be an interesting Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah.
Nortec pie throwing. The North Technical High School in Florissant, Missouri. Oh, in Missouri even? I might have to go there. Florissant, Missouri. Thanksgiving marks an annual pie throwing event where students get to launch pies at the faculty and administration. Seems like something the world could get into. Yeah, and all the custodians having to clean it up, probably like I do.
I feel sorry. Yeah, they think it's funny until you're a janitor or a custodian.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The turkey trot. These popular events generally held before Thanksgiving involve getting dressed up as a turkey in a turkey suit and doing a 3 to 5 mile run, normally for charity. A great way to shed some excess calories pre-feasting. Think of it like a Thanksgiving-themed mini marathon. It'd be kind of fun. And turkey eating competitions. This would be kind of fun after you get done doing your turkey jogging competition.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing better than good protein. A few brave folks get together before Thanksgiving and stretch their stomachs at various turkey eating competitions across the U.S. Normally, the event will involve eating as much of possible can of a 20-pound turkey in a limited amount of time. Joey Chestnut currently holds the title, managing to gobble down 9 pounds in just 10 minutes. Blech.
Oh
Jesus.
wow.
It's
Oh
probably
yeah,
pretty good turkey,
I've
though.
seen hot dog eating contests. I haven't seen a turkey eating one. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And you can't eat it that fast too because it gets stuck because there's something within the the juices of it that it gets stuck if you do it too fast. Turkey does. It gets
Uh,
sticky. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it does. It does. It gets some of that fat all over your hands. Yeah, it's sticky.
Hmm.
Uh, then there's turkey toss. In Indianapolis, Indiana, some school athletes started a tradition of dressing turkeys, not live ones, don't worry, in baby onesies, lighting them on fire and throwing them across a football field to see whose turkey would fly further. Shocker, they are still doing it.
That's funny. Yeah. I've heard of
Black.
ones doing it with a catapult too, like a trebuchet. Like,
Oh, yeah, pumpkin chunking.
yeah.
The day the shopping is at its most expensive, Black Friday. Just why?
Yeah, Black Friday. That's something they need to abolish because people have actually died doing that.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I always, every year, I look at the Black Friday death count. There's a, yeah. Have you ever
in
seen
New
that?
York, yeah. There was a Walmart in New York
Well,
where
here, we're
a guy
done
got
with
trampled.
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some interesting things right there. Let me type in something real quick.
All right. Yeah, with a Black Friday, they should do it online and not have it in the physical stores. If they're going to do that. Because I used to work at a
Here,
Walmart and
everybody,
Kmart.
put your eyes on the screen. Here's last year's numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Black Friday death count, 17 deaths, 125 injuries since they started taking track. Last year,
God.
shooting at Northeast Austin Walmart is city's 83rd homicide. Suspect at large, police say. 1 death. Let's go. 2 killed on Black Friday in busy downtown East Chicago. That's just an injury. Yeah, here's all the Black Friday death counts. I've been following this ever since they released it. It's kind of funny. Horrible mentions, not included in count. Man shopping on Black Friday at Walmart has apparent heart attack and dies, coroner says. Texas pair arrested for Black Friday employee murder. Murder-suicide at Chicago Nordstrom leaves 2 dead. Stay out of Chicago, apparently. Man's dead
really.
at Costco.
It's a shithole right now. So,
Oh, it is. It is. Employee suicide at Zanesville. Joanne closed the store for Black Friday. Huh.
Jesus.
But there's
I worked at a
year's.
Walmart during the holidays. Black Friday and Christmas Eve were the 2 worst. It's working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, horrible days. Not as Black Friday was the worst. I mean, it was like almost like the disaster was ready to happen. Everybody was like going to Walmart for shelter or like a zombie apocalypse. That's what it reminded me of, mixed between the two of them. And yeah, you don't want to be working retail at this time of year. No. It's horrible. You want to put a gun in your mouth. So yeah, you don't want to do it. Yeah.
There's your bargain.
Yeah. Even though I did go to a Best Buy to get our television, one of our televisions, on Black Friday because it was like a third of the cost. We had to replace a TV at one point, but
that's all right.
It wasn't that crowded anyway at the Best Buy. But we avoided the stores, Walmart's, restaurants, all that other stuff. But yeah, I always encourage people to do if they're going to do Black Friday, do it online because you get it quicker, and then you still get the discount for stuff. So yeah. There's no reason to keep it an active physical thing. The stores could easily do their website Black Friday.
Yeah.
But it's become a holiday tradition, good old capitalistic Christmas, Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
it's the time of year.
Yeah. 'Tis the season to
squeeze
waste money.
between your festive buns.
Exactly.
A present from down below, spreading joy with a hally ho. Seen the love inside of you, 'cause he's a piece of poo. Hi, Mr. Hanky.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. I haven't laughed so hard in all my life when I saw Mr. Hanky. It's like Mr.
Hanky.
Yeah, I kind of miss that, because about when my mother first saw that, I thought she was gonna barf. She was laughing so damn hard.
I should get one of their Mr. Hanky Christmas sweaters and start wearing it to parties.
Yeah, wear it on Christmas show when we film that. It's like get the Mr. Hanky
Funny.
hat or something.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to bring Isaac in?
Yeah, I was thinking of that. Yeah. Let's just see. Hang on a second. We covered a lot, so he might not have a whole lot to say. But let's see. Okay, Isaac through the crystal, please. Benevolent Isaac. Yes. We've had some creepy activity, like I said before, on here, so it's been sometimes hard communicating. So, I'm saying. Ooh. Hey, Gimpy, what's happening? So, not necessarily just exploiting your injury, but hey, he's Gimpy too, so might as well. So, this is actually a very interesting set of subjects. Yes, he did yesterday come across this very thing with the house brownies and creatures of that nature. He forgets when he gets very angry at things of this happening that he is the curious one. So part fork and light socket, part informational lesson, and also at least 1/3 oppression. So he tends to get uppity about some of the smallest things. In this case, house brownies, boggarts, and puckwudgies. Even though they can be dangerous, still, they also can incur in humans the urge to want to shoot something with a double-barrel shotgun. So this is something that happens around the house, especially if you've had other bad things happen. So this is sympathized over. Your property, as a matter of fact, yes, he was correct in his assessment, where you do have things that come and go from yours, both in a demonic fashion and in a mischievous one. This can be solved with different types of shiny objects being placed out, different stones and plants of various natures, which you have most of on your property. However, there are some things, the reason some of the demonic things slip in is because some of these little mischievous ones, let's just say, leave the door open. See, if you have a creature, or I should say a little cryptid that uses a portal to jump on your property, it forms a string. Then, like a child leaving the refrigerator door open, the food tends to rot. So with that connection, if it remains open, something else exploits and comes in and causes injury and all sorts of mayhem. So this is exactly what is going on currently on your property. So I figured I would state this for the record. So I can go into questions if you like.
Yeah, what is something this time of year you believe people can do to detox off of like the Halloween candy and to stay away from the sweets? What are some things people can do you have any recipes for like teas or herbal tonics or things of that nature that people can take to help themselves this time of year?
For detoxing and also calming, you know of chamomile, and for blood pressure issues, he uses hibiscus. But good old fashioned, just staying away from the garbage tends to detox it. He is using things such as Zoa energy drinks and the like, even though he is doing it entirely too much. This getting a lot of antioxidants in your system, such as your kombucha tea, for instance, and also eating things in high fibers and also vegetables and fruits. He is doing the same. Again, he tends to do things in excess. So I figured I would get back at him for his little rant last night by throwing him under the bus this morning. So this he tends to lose his shit when little creepy things come around the house and start poking. This is in this particular instance, your detox. For one, allow yourself to get off the sugar without falling into the addictive, repetitious pattern of even, picking at something. This is what him and Joanna tend to do. So in this instance, avoid this. but detox with lots of antioxidants, lots of natural live fruits and foods. And also you have the components around your house, such as your stevia, for instance, and as also your hibiscus plants, as well as cleansing the energies around you, within you, and around the house. Keeping grounded as well. But also there are certain plants like lavenders and certain vegetables like garlic, for instance, that can actually detox different chemicals through your feet. You see, there are certain, he found these in Japan, where you place these pads on the bottom of the feet with certain detox different spices and herbs. And it
Yeah, those
pulls
work good.
detox.
I've used those before. Those work well.
Yes, those work great. He has some, but has not used them in quite some time. So anything with high spices in it, such as your capsaicin oil, such as like your habanero and your jalapenos, will also help detox if put on the bottoms of the feet. And chili peppers and the like will work as well. It tends to keep the energy in the feet from plugging up from entanglements from where you walk from place to place. Shungite does this, silver does this, but if you want to keep getting the little molecular particles, it is heavy spices. And also lavenders do it, but the spices work better.
What, and speaking of detox, have you discovered anything that people with long-term COVID can do to help their symptoms?
What was that, Aubrey?
Have you discovered anything with people who have had COVID and might be suffering from long-term COVID? Have you discovered anything that helps cure any of that?
Yes, in this particular instance, yes, the same detoxing methods, but at the same time, ginger tends to help with this. He's been using these things called ginger chews. He did this on the East Coast when he caught it a second time out there. Ginger tends to expedite the process of, even though it can raise the blood pressure, it induces feverish, sometimes type states if there's a heavy amount of viral activity in your body. It accelerates the process. When the fever kicks in and the fever burns out, then some of those long-standing COVID symptoms can disappear. It works differently, slightly in different people. Ginger and garlic are, and also oreganos and things of that nature, are at the top of the list. Also, heavy spices, again, jalapeno, habanero will start to clear this as well. As for physical objects, he also has an ozone generator that also tends to kill mucus bacteria. This is a slightly more dangerous move. He tends to bulldoze these things fairly heavily, but a minute or two around an ozone generator, not an enormous amount, will burn some of the mucus away. Too much will burn your lungs. So he did it because he was impatient. But in this instance, the heavy spices again win.
Nice. That's good advice. Is there anything else that you would like to continue when it comes to detoxing the body? Anything that you want to, information you want to give to help people out going into yet another holiday season?
Yes. Also, you have promoted cacao, for instance. This is another
lovely
one that also helps with this process. You can get off the refined sugars by using cacao, raw cacao, instead of the white refined sugars. Some of the brown sugars, yes, cacao is better than even some of the brown sugars. You have cacao, which is cleansed. You have brown sugar. Somewhere in between, you have the white sugar, which should be up there with heroin and crack. So this is essentially the scale.
Nice. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, and thank you both for having me on again. And just know that when some of these creepy things are around your home, they can be repelled. And yes, with brownies, does the clothes thing work? Yes, it does. Leaving them shiny things, yes. But you should never tolerate bullying around your home. They have bugged me too, and so I couldn't, I was not able to cleanse his home. I do not blame him for his angry words towards me yesterday, because he figures that I guess I was always around to spot these. I did, but at the same time, he requested the knowledge about these particular cryptids. You can only learn through experience, and in some cases, fork or penny and the like socket. So in this instance, I thank you all for listening, and I look forward to a very merry artificial intelligence Christmas. So thank you.
Booyah.
Yeah, making my eyes water.
That was
there.
good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, him and I had some words last night when I found a bunch of this crap around the house. Because he notices things long before I do. So I figured, okay, we were running into a bunch of other crap. So Isaac is known for his practical jokes too, but he'll like if he sees me ready to put the fork in the light socket, he'll be like a father and their child. He'll be like, no, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute, just give him a second, stuff like that. He's like that. But he's actually a member of Soul Family. He looks like myself and my mother a little bit combined with red hair. So is what he looks like. So I know he's a family member. So
Interesting.
yeah, but I thought that this information is interesting. Good things come out of it, even though what can lead up to the good information can be traumatic. So even when darker things happen, and yeah, he was showing me images in my head of like around your place with little portals and stuff that were open. He was showing me different corners of the property that had little portals open. So off call, I can help you take care of this, or off this the show, I can help you take care of that. But with this, yeah, it's fairly interesting. If you visualize a portal on your property and you visualize it with a zipper and zipping it shut, and then you just wave like you're waving smoke out of the way like this, you can usually close a little doorway or an entanglement if you do that visual. But with this, I don't know if you have anything else to add, Aubrey, but we can take it out from this point.
Nope. I guess everybody stay aware, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
And you have now exited the conspiracy sector. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I noticed, from that crystal with the brownies, it's clear now. They were throwing attachments out from it, like those jellyfish and octopi type ones. They were looking for ones that were already floating in the ether near us and capturing them in the crystal and throwing them at us. I don't think they had the capability of creating them. They had the ability of netting them and throwing them. So I found some in the house this morning attached to me, but it doesn't mean they were doing it. It means that some of these were in the area. And also when you start moving and shifting energy, sometimes these things are just kind of resting in there. Granted, as I've said before, they're of Syrian origin. They even presented these in Wakanda Forever with some of the myrrh. Yeah, some of the myrrh responsible at times for this. Yes, because some of them have Syrian origins, like the fish people presented in Wakanda Forever. But also you have beings from the void as well, where in the past Toran Kal brought those through in rituals all the time towards the end of Atlantis. I believe he was trying to use those techniques to stop the Orions, and just like the Jews tried to stop Hitler by summoning Dybbuk's from the Dybbuk box, which it always backfires, folks. You try to conjure like that, always does. They tried to summon a Jinn or Dybbuk to go after Adolf Hitler, and of course Adolf Hitler had the alien backing that was already bringing this crap in, so it was counterintuitive and counterproductive. Of course, the Jewish people at the time doing that ritual were desperate. I get it, but you can't you can't play with fire unless you want to get burned. So, just a little advice from a magical practitioner out there that has seen the effects of a fork and light socket or penny and light socket. So, I'll leave it here. It is 9:10 a.m. Arizona Standard Time, Monday, November 14th, 2022. Thank you.